Scorecard Design Trends. The golf industry has embraced a number of changes over the last several years in an attempt to encourage casual and beginning golfers to either take up the game or play more. As a result, the scorecard has evolved as well, changing to accommodate the addition of tee it forward programs, junior tees, combination tees, pace of play reminders, and more. Here are some of the bigger trends we see and their impact on the scorecard. Tee it forward is a very common program we see, where more tee options are offered and golfers are encouraged to play at the tees that best match their ability. Tees are more likely to be gender neutral, making it comfortable for men who aren't long hitters to play from the shorter tees. Gender neutral means tees are no longer explicitly identified as men's tees or women's tees, and the colors are typically changed as well. If you have a tee it forward program, keep in mind how gender-neutral tees will affect the layout of your grid. Here you can see all the tees have been put at the top of the grid, and the longest tees have been colored red, a color traditionally associated with shorter women's tees. Junior tees and family tees are something we see a lot as well. These tees are a common strategy to introduce kids to golf and are an important part of the player development program for many courses. If you have junior or family tees, remember you need enough space on the grid to accommodate them. If your grid is tight already, you might need to increase the size of your card or migrate some information elsewhere. Many clubs also put the information on a separate family tee card as well. Combination tees are a popular and low-cost way to make the course more interesting for golfers who play your facility regularly. Combo tees are great, but again, keep in mind how much space you have on the grid. We've already discussed combo tees earlier in this video. If you're running low on space on your grid, refer to some of our tips on how to display combo tees. Pace of play initiatives are becoming increasingly common, and the scorecard will often include a reminder to keep pace. Some cards include the pace of play in their rules somewhere, while other cards put the actual pace of play times on the grid. Liability statements are another fairly standard practice these days, typically a line or two of text absolving the golf course of any liability for personal injury or property damage. Liability statements often go on the rules panel. If you are planning to include one on your card, you might have to edit down your rules to make everything fit. Scorecard dimensions tend to be getting taller as well, going from 4.5 or 5 inches tall to 6 inches tall. Whereas 10 years ago 4.5 by 12 cards were most common, most cards these days are 6 inches tall to accommodate additional tee rows. 5 tee lines, 2 handicap lines, a par line, and 8 player spaces are much easier to arrange on a 6-inch tall card than a 4.5-inch tall card. In this section, we went over some of the trends that have influenced the design of the scorecard over the years. To recap, Tee It Forward, a program that encourages people to play tees based on ability, not gender. If you've got a Tee It Forward program, you might want to put all your tees at the top of the grid and not color code them based on gender. Junior tees, a common tactic to get more kids out on the course. Junior tees take up space on the grid, so you'll need to keep that in mind when you're laying out your card. Combo tees, which can be a great way to make the course more interesting for your regular golfers. There are many ways to display combo tees, including arrows, circles, and diamonds. Pace of play is a very useful program to keep golfers moving at a reasonable speed. Watermarking the pace of play on the grid or including a time par per hole are both good options here. Liability statements are increasingly common these days. These statements can take up a lot of space on your rules panel, so keep them in mind when you're designing that part of the card. Card sizes are changing as well, going from 4.5 inches tall to 5 or 6 inches tall. This gives you more space for tee rows on the grid, which can be helpful to have.